In the desert tonight, Pac-12 basketball is tip-off week presented by Gatorade. UTRGV. The Vaqueros are in town to take on the Arizona Wildcats at McHale Center. Along with the all-time leading scorer in the history of the conference, Don McClain, Roxy Bernstein with you. In Arizona, Don, got up and down and were impressive in their opener against NAU.
Yeah, it looks a little different here in Tucson this year, but a great start. A lot to like about this Arizona team that we'll get to during the course of the game.
Well, a new coach, as you're well aware, in Tucson as Tommy Lloyd takes over for Sean Miller. And in his first game, certainly was impressive. And you and I have known him for a long time. What impressed you the most about Tommy Lloyd?
Well, he just gets it in a lot of different facets. One of the best recruiters in the country at Gonzaga. You would expect that to continue here in Tucson. But managing an entire program, especially a program with the expectations that come here at Arizona, I think he's up for the challenge. I think this Arizona team's better than people think this year, but I think it's only going to get better in the Tommy Lloyd era.
The lineups for tonight's ball game, as you look on the left for UTRGV, keep an eye on Laquan Butler. He went for 19 in their opening win against Texas A&M International. On the other side for Arizona, the same five, and Arizona put up 81 points in their season opener against Northern Arizona.
Well, they're going to get up and down, and one guy to watch, the perceived question mark coming into the season for Arizona was the point guard position. Could Kurt Kriisa do it? He only played 8 games last year and played mostly off the ball, but where he's from in Estonia, he's a point guard. Led him in scoring on Tuesday night with 17, but more importantly, 5 assists, no turnovers. I don't think there's a question mark at the point guard position. And oh, by the way, Roxy, we like the guys that play with an edge. Kurt Kriisa plays with an edge. I like it.
I'm anxious to see Benedict Mathurin tonight. He struggled in the opener, was just 2 for 13 from the field against the Lumberjacks, and I'm anxious to see how he responds tonight.
Well, it's a process, Roxy, because they're playing much differently. A lot of set plays in the Sean Miller era, a lot of read and react here for Tommy Lloyd. So if you're used to being in certain spots for certain plays, that's a lot different than reading defense and making your own reactions.
Christian Coloco underneath, and Arizona with the first points, not even 15 seconds in.
He may be one of the most improved players in the league this year, Coloco. But just to finish that point on Mathurin, you know, he's going to get there. If that's a problem, it's not going to be a problem for long because he's got an enormous amount of talent. He will figure it out.
Offensive foul on the drive as Frank Harvey III, our lead official tonight, working with Scott Brown and Sean Lehigh, and there's Ben Mathurin called for the charge.
Well, Mathurin's arguably the highest rated NBA prospect in our league in the Pac-12, and I think that will play itself out. It's one game. It could have been jitters. He could have been playing too fast, but the getting used to playing differently, like I said, I think will work itself out. Didn't play great in the first game. Maybe flips it tonight.
The Vaqueros out of the WAC, which has a lot of Texas teams now, big-time Texas flavor in that conference, as it rattles out from Merrick Nelson, the transfer from Western Kentucky.
Well, that's what you're going to see a lot of from Coloco this year. Rim protection. He's gotten so much better in understanding defense. He's always had the length, but rotations, secondary defender, getting over, challenging shots, changing shots, and blocking shots like he just did on that last possession.
Julius Tabellis made it 4-0 Wildcats. A 3 from the corner from Laquan Butler, and here comes U of A.
Man, they are getting it down the court, aren't they?
Tabellis runs the floor. 6-0 Arizona. Timeout already for UTRGV.
I think what Julius Tabellis has figured out is that, look, if Coloco's going to get every rebound, I'm flying down the court. I'm going to score at the other end. 2 times already here in the first minute and a half. Tabellis with the lead pass, finishing at the rim. Oh, this is fun, isn't it, Roxy?
Talked to Matt Figger earlier today, the head coach for University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley, and he was saying we can't get up and down the floor with Arizona. We have to find some way to get them out of a track meet as it's time for our Nextiva team talk. When you need to talk to your team, always use Nextiva. For Tommy Lloyd. Good start, guys. Way to go.
Yeah, great start. Not much to talk about yet, but it's hard for UTRGV to slow the game down if Arizona's not taking it out of the net. If they're getting misses and blocks, they are throwing lead passes. It's hard. So Rio Grande Valley's going to have to get some buckets if they want to slow down the tempo of this game and keep this crowd out of it.
When you have to pull the ball out of the net.
Yep.
And that can slow down Arizona, but here's a little press from the Wildcats.
I think what's impressive about Arizona, we're only the second game of the year. Like, everybody says they want to run, right? Oh, we want to run, we want to get up and down. Well, guess what? It's harder to play that way because you have to be in superior condition. And it looks to me already, watching the game the other night and tonight, that this Arizona team is already in the second game of the year in great condition.
Kirk Kriisa called for the foul.
Kriisa quickly becoming a fan favorite here at the McHale Center.
Eric Nelson.
Another one.
Christian Coloco blocks the shot. And Nelson hustling, knocks it free.
Great
and
hustle.
A turnover. Here come the Vaqueros. Laquan Butler tried to challenge Azuolas Tubelis.
What you like about the way Arizona's playing is it doesn't have to be Kriisa bringing it up every time. Whoever gets it, bring it in transition. Coloco again on the low block. I don't think UTRGV has any answer for Coloco. Too long.
The floater, the first points from Ricky Doc Nelson for UTRGV, the transfer from Weber State.
Well, now you can set your defense, just like I said. Now we're playing in the half court Arizona, whereas every possession up until now was transition.
Significant size advantage for the Wildcats.
Go to work.
Coloco is. Tubelis in the corner. And a three rattles in for Azuolas Tubelis.
You'd like to see Coloco attack the smaller player and get his own, but you love the unselfishness. Going opposite, Tubelis smart, positions himself in the corner, opposite side. That's the right pass when secondary defenders come.
Justin Johnson down the lane, hangs.
He's not going to get credit for a block there, Roxy, but he gets credit for a missed shot.
Definitely challenged that one. Three from the corner. Dalen Terry too strong. Out of bounds. It belongs to the Vaqueros.
Tommy Lloyd said something. I don't know if he wants me repeating this, but he thinks Coloco's going to be in line in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. And so I don't see any reason here this first 3 minutes why that conversation's probably not going to continue.
Is it the Don McClain Award?
It's not, but I can heavily influence that award. So I'm not saying I'm starting Coloco's campaign tonight.
Offensive foul on Coloco. And Tommy Lloyd doesn't like it.
I don't like that call either. It looked like he was in the RA, the restricted area. Let's take another look at it.
Plus, I don't think he gave him the area to come down with the ball. Because you're
right. He was outside the RA, but he was in the air when the player got underneath him.
Subs for the Wildcats. Pella Larson, the Utah transfer, is in. Kim Aiken Jr., the transfer from Eastern Washington, also in for the Wildcats.
Speaking of defense, Aiken, one of those guys, just understands how to play. Not going to wow you with his athleticism, but with his IQ, his toughness, his strength, switching positions defensively, rebounding, being a great positional defender.
Loose underneath. And Nelson. And Frank Harvey III says jump ball. I believe. No.
I think he got a foul.
I think an Arizona player was on the end line.
There you go.
And then it belongs to UTRGV. Also in for the Wildcats, Justin Kier, the grad transfer from Georgia, the sixth-year senior.
I think Larson's going to be a major factor for Arizona as this goes along. He had surgery in the summer, so missed a lot of time just rounding himself back into it. But I think his shooting, he's going to be on the ball some when Kriisa's not in the game. He's going to be a valuable player for this Arizona team.
Dalen Terry called for the foul before the inbound. UTRGV just one of their first 8 from the floor.
Well, give Arizona credit. They are engaged up and into it. And usually this time of year players are, because you're kind of auditioning for minutes right now, aren't you? A lot of good players on this Arizona roster. You want to play, you got to come in and guard.
Dalen Terry fumbles it but recovers. He had a career-high 7 assists in his season opener against NAU.
Kier, veteran player, been around 6 years in college basketball. He'll be valuable as well.
Pella Larson missing the pull-up, but Terry keeps it alive for Azuolas Tubelis, who already has 9.
Great pass by Terry. Awareness, presence to understand where everyone's out on the floor. Touch pass in the air.
Offensive foul Nothing going right early for UTRGV. It's all Wildcats.
Impressive start for Arizona. Getting stops, getting out in transition, making passes. 13-2 lead early.
Pac-12 tip-off week is presented by Gatorade. Gatorade's proven formula. Whatever path you take, greatness starts with G. And brought to you by Jockey, the official apparel and comfort brand of the Pac-12 Conference. Look for Jockey's Made in America collection at jockey.com. And by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? 13-2. Arizona, the early lead on UTRGV. It's been a tough stretch for the Vaqueros. You see all the players wearing the number 3 shooting shirts. The number 3 represents their former head coach, Lou Hill, who passed away tragically in the middle of last season. Lou Hill coached this team in a game at Texas Southern. Went home after the game. It was on the road. They went back to campus, and then he went home. Fell asleep, and unfortunately, he never woke up.
Sad stuff, unfortunate. And it's great that they're keeping his memory alive by the shooting shirts and the jersey on the bench. And Matt Figger, a lot to live up to. Former Ohio Valley Coach of the Year at Austin Peay, 4 years there. And, you know, you just wonder, Roxy, how hard it is to overcome that, you know, overcome the devastation of the coach passing away and getting everybody back on board. But you like the spirit that UTRGV is playing with here early. And Figure, a disciple, he's been a few places, but Frank Martin at South Carolina, tough, physical, hard-nosed defensively. Haven't been able to see it yet because it's been all transition. Arizona's Kyer knocks down the 3.
First points for Kyer, who was 0 of 2 from 3 in the opener. And it's a 16-2 lead for the Wildcats. Arizona's made 7 of their first 10.
Well, it's not like I forgot, Roxy, but what's interesting is being back here in McHale and just the presence of this crowd and how much of a factor it has always been.
And how intimidating it can be for a team to come in here. Mike Adewumi has his shot sent back.
I love the throw-ahead pass Arizona's playing with.
3 rattles out from Matherin.
A lot of freedom. When you throw it ahead, you can attack 1-on-0, 1-on-1, or you get it back out and run some offense. But there's been a lot available with that throw-ahead pass for Arizona. And what you love, one thing I came across, Roxy, from the first game. Now, this is the first game of a new coaching staff, new system, new way of doing things. How about 25 assists on 28 made field goals in their first game? 8, not a good sign, a great sign that what Tommy Lloyd is preaching is working.
Arizona also had 11 steals, 9 blocks in the opener. The reverse lay-in by Azuolas Tubelis, who has 11 of Arizona's 18.
Active. Tubelis looks like he's in better condition than he was last year, running the floor, active in the half court. He's going to be an all-conference player this year, no doubt.
Out of bounds, it belongs to Arizona.
I know it's a different level of competition, Roxy, as you look at this last pass by Larson to Tubelis. Where was Arizona picked in the preseason poll?
Tied for 4th.
Well, I don't know who you put behind them, but and I know the level of competition's different here tonight, but I'm really impressed with how Arizona has come out of the gate here.
And a reach-in foul against UTRGV. And that goes on Xavier Johnson, senior transfer from Chicago State.
You expect the level to stay up, Roxy, because of how many players they have and guys want to play. And so I don't think there's going to be any foot off the gas pedal.
And the competition for minutes is going to be pretty stiff.
There's the poll.
And there is the preseason poll. So the Cats were tied for 4th with Oregon State. UCLA almost a unanimous choice. And of course, they have the big game tonight at Pauley Pavilion against Villanova.
Gigantic game, I think, for the conference, for the Pac-12, because of all the momentum created by last year in March. Got the national attention now. Everybody's got their eyeballs on the league. It would be tremendous for our league. UCLA rises up and wins that game tonight. Unfortunately, no Cody Riley. Got hurt on Tuesday night, out for a couple weeks.
Great to see the students camping out to get into Pauley for that one tonight. Shows you the importance in that UCLA basketball game tonight against Villanova is Ricky Nelson. Doc Nelson with a bucket to end the drought. That was a 10-0 run ended by Nelson.
I think by trial and error, Doc Nelson figured out, I better not try and lay it up. We're going to have to go to the runner-floater game to get over the top of Koloko.
Opportunity to run for the Vaqueros. The floater.
Another one.
In the lane, Mike Adewumi. Well, he's a transfer from SIU Edwardsville.
UTRGV, when Koloko's in the game, ain't getting to the rim, so you might as well resort to the runner-floater game.
Corner three, Pelle Larsson. And the rebound by Adewumi for UTRGV. And just finish the thought as Nelson misses the runner. About Lou Hill, the former head coach, who was named WAC Coach of the Year after the season last year. And they got off to a really good start last year. They were 8-3 and then had a bunch of games canceled because of COVID. Only played 7 conference games last year. Lost in the quarterfinals of the WAC tournament to New Mexico State as Pelle Larsson gets on the scoreboard. But Lou Hill stays, his family stays attached to this program. UTRGV leaves that first seat on the bench empty with the number 3 jersey there to honor him. And credit to Matt Figger too, Don, for embracing it. A lot of coaches might want to turn the page. It's my program now, but he wanted Lou Hill still to be a part of his program.
And that's why I say how difficult it must be. If you just ignore it, who knows what happens then, but if you embrace it and keep the memory alive, maybe that moves your players more to make the transition easier to a new coach and a new system and a new way of doing things.
Through the hands of Umar Ballo, and it's out of bounds and takes us to a timeout, but a tremendous start for Arizona in game number 2 of the Tommy Lloyd era. Against UTRGV here at McHale tonight. Game 2 under Tommy Lloyd. And Tommy Lloyd has the reputation for being a very strong international recruiter. Now, he inherited a lot of these players from Sean Miller, but you look back at his track record, Don, some of the great players that he had at Gonzaga, whether it was Kelly Olynyk, Domantas Sabonis, Shimon Karnowski, Rui Hachimura, we can go on and on and on. But that's kind of what Tommy's known for.
Well, Tommy's known for that, but that's also now college basketball 2021. I mean, did a game last night where the team had 7 international players. So Canada's become a hotbed. All over the world, players want to come to the United States to play college and then hopefully eventually play in the NBA. So international recruiting has become a major thing here in the last 5 to 10 years. But Tommy Lloyd, to your point, has kind of perfected it.
Hustling Dalen Terry out of bounds. It belongs to UTRGV. So 20 years at Gonzaga with Mark Few, and now getting a chance to run his own program. He takes over an elite program in Arizona. It's not just a stepping stone job. He steps right into one of the premier jobs in college basketball.
How do you turn this job down?
And teams have come calling before. It's not like people were not knocking on his door. They were. He was just waiting for the right opportunity, and he had a great opportunity there as a shot clock violation as Christian Koloko getting out there for the block. He had a great situation where he could be selective. He didn't necessarily need to jump at the first offer.
But this is a big-time job with resources, facilities. Like there's if you turn down this job, I'm not sure there's a job for you, right?
And let's face it, Mark Few is not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's not like that job was going to open.
Right. Again, a different way of doing things under Tommy Lloyd. What jumps off the page is the transition of getting it out, getting it ahead, and then attacking, guys running to the rim. And I think that'll even get better as this goes on. Like, as good as it looks tonight, teams will start preparing for that. Like, when we get into conference play, you're not going to see all these runouts that you're seeing tonight. So how do you get better at it? But
Koloko finds Kim Aiken Jr.
But you have to get, it has to start on the defensive end. And being at shoot-around today, that was the message of defensively, what do they want to do? And I think one thing he really wants to do is switch everything. Koloko very good at switching. To Bellis, is emerging as a switching defender, and I think that will get better. But that's the one area, if you're talking about teams game planning for you running, your counter is to get better defensively. And so now you're putting pressure on them because you're not taking it out of the net every time.
Christian Coloco rams it home.
They worked on that pass a lot today. In the shoot around the high ball screen, the bigs get stretched out, so there's stuff behind it. Coloco, that pass from the top, usually not available, but against this defense, it's there.
High arco, not good for Laquan Butler, and here comes Arizona. Kirk Kriisa turns it over. Butler to the basket, and Butler has it set out, but a goaltend against Christian Coloco.
You know what? I'm sure Tommy Lloyd will live with goaltends from Coloco. Already on the glass, went and got it. But you'd rather him being aggressive. You know what? If it's a goaltend, it's a goaltend. It was going to be a layup anyway. Shot blockers have to have the mentality that I'm blocking everything. And if it means you get a couple goaltends a game, so what?
Already 3 block shots tonight for Christian Coloco.
Had 5 in game 1. 2 steals, 5 blocks in the first game. Nice.
And Azuolas Tubelis has fouled the bump on Doc Nelson of UTRGV. And Azuolas Tubelis will head to the line for Arizona.
His first personal, third.
I like what Dalen Terry's off to a good start. We haven't talked enough about him.
Already 4 assists tonight.
The assist, so he's like a facilitator. He's not the point guard, but the ball's in his hands, and he's looking for cutters, looking for guys moving. What a valuable asset for this Arizona team that it doesn't have to come from your point guard to get the assists and get guys involved.
One more for Tubelis. 12 points already for Azuolas Tubelis, who this summer had the opportunity to play for Lithuania's under-19 national team. And that's another thing, because of COVID, it wiped out all the international opportunities the previous summer. And that was an opportunity where players had this summer that wasn't there a year ago.
Well, and that's why there's a lot of reasons why basketball will be better this year than it was last year. But part of it is that guys missed summers, teams couldn't be together. Everyone was at home, and so now you had this offseason was better, and teams better, and I think the level of basketball is going to be much better this year across the country.
First points for Dalen Terry. It's been rough sledding for the Vaqueros on this end of the floor.
Well, everything is challenged. I mean, nothing's been easy so far. They got a couple floaters 5 or 6 minutes ago, but other than that, everything has been contested. Nothing easy.
And Arizona has the length on, but it's also the effort.
Yes. It's exactly what it is. You know, with Coloco back there, it allows the guards to be even more aggressive. So if you can be more aggressive, it takes more effort to be aggressive. But if you overcommit or get beat, it's nice to know you got that back line guy, Coloco, back there.
Won't go for Doc Nelson. Dalen Terry feeds a cutting to Tubelis, and he'll get back to the line for Arizona.
I didn't realize this Dalen Terry was this good of a passer. I mean, great awareness of where everyone is. Saw Tubelis running hard down the middle.
And last year, he kind of got lost in the shuffle. He was starting early in the year, then kind of hit a lull and never really worked his way back into the rotation.
Well, again, when you got guys behind you, like Larson's going to come on. We already talked about him, and once he gets himself rounded back into shape from being off for so long, like every game, you better perform, because there's guys sitting over there that want to get in the game.
One more for Azuolas Tubelis. He had 13 in the opener. He already has 13 tonight. And the rebound, Mike Adewumi for UTRGV. He's playing without a couple of their key players like Jeff O'Cherry tonight, the big 6'11" center, who is a space eater and a shot blocker for UTRGV's. Not in the lineup tonight for Matt Figger. So they're down a couple of their key players. But Arizona has been locked in from the outset tonight. They have been dominant at both ends of the floor here through the first 12+ minutes. 28-8 Wildcats. Tickets are on sale now. Pick your perfect plan at ArizonaWildcats.com/MBK. Believe it or not, yes, there are tickets available.
Roxy, I know you don't know where the weight room is, but you know who does know where the weight room is? It's Koloko. Look at him back in 2018 when he first got here and the build he had, and then look at him now. And the work he's done in the weight room does a couple things. A, you're stronger, obviously, but it gives you more confidence to play with more force and play with more confidence. And I think that's exactly what's happened with him. He's continued to work on his body, and now he's become a much better player because of the gain in strength and confidence.
I take offense to that. I know where the weight room is.
No, you don't.
I know where it is. I'm not like
you only know where the weight room is to go in there and steal like an energy bar.
I know where it is. Doesn't mean I use it. UTRGV just 4 for 22 from the floor, 18%, 0 of 6 from 3.
I was thinking during the break, Rox, like what do they do to get back in this game? And it's like, yes, we're talking mid-major versus high-major, but if you're playing against a defense with this many good players and length and a lot of boxes checked, I'm not sure how you do get back into it. I think you're going to have to make some threes. But Arizona impressive for sure.
Offensive foul on Azuolas Tubelis.
You know, that play that was correct call by Sean Lehigh. But if you're a college player now, you should just get away from that game, that back down game. It's gonna end up in an offensive foul literally 95% of the time. Because the guy's gonna take one hit, and then when you hit him again, he's gonna fall down, and it's an offensive foul. I would inside pivot face him. And then if you want to hit them once and spin off, but if you go to the straight back down game, it's going to be an offensive foul almost every time.
Kick out open three. Doc Nelson hits it for UTRGV.
That's how they're going to have to get back in it. Drive, not looking to score. Drive, looking to kick.
He has 7 of the Vaqueros' 11. And Ben Mathurin will get to the line.
They'll call that a shooting foul?
No, they're going to say it was on the floor. Okay, 15 foul.
Well, that replay, the kick out's the only thing that's going to be available. You're going to have to draw guys in and then spray it out to the perimeter and hopefully get hot from 3 if you're UTRGV. Let's see if Mathurin can get going here.
Scoreless so far. Christian Koloko again, back and down, turning middle.
It's available just over the top. I would like to see him counter that when we get into conference play, when he's playing against guys his size. Go middle, spin back to the left.
Block shot number 4 for Koloko.
Because if you go middle and stay middle, a lot of times guys will sit on that and be able to challenge it.
And a reach in. That's on Xavier Johnson of UTRGV. His second.
See here, watch this, Rock. See now spin. Against UTRGV, because it's smaller, you can go right over the top. And then another block shot for him.
8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks already for Koloko. Deflected as Quentin Johnson is second. Pressuring. Pelle Larsson for Tubelis, broken up. Diving forward is Raquan Taylor, and he gets tied up by Azuolas Tubelis. The arrow belongs to the Vaqueros.
Probably did need to go to the floor there. Thought he could have probably picked that up.
He'll learn. He's a freshman. UTRGV picked to come in tied for 9th in the WAC preseason media poll with Tarleton, who lost at Stanford on tip-off Tuesday. Block number 5 for Christian Koloko.
This is impressive, man.
Azuolas Tubelis and 1.
I mean, how many times has that happened tonight? Koloko block, lead pass, Tubelis at the other end, finishing.
Eric Nelson, the foul, his first.
Again, I know this is a drop down in level of competition, but I may start the campaign tonight for Koloko.
Why not? Start it.
Well,
Go ahead.
because it's unfair to the other players in the league. It's the second game of the year, Roxy, and we're in the non-conference.
He's got 5 blocks already.
What about Jaquez at UCLA? What about Parquet at Colorado?
Dejon Davis at Washington.
I at least need to see them live before I start anyone's campaign. I'll be in Colorado on Monday. Excited to check them out. The PMW, post-McKinley Wright era of Colorado basketball.
How long do you think it's going to take Tad Boyle to get over that?
Right.
He's gone. A loose ball. And is that a foul? Yes, they're getting Azuolas Tubelis for a second.
Both teams in the bonus now.
17th foul on Arizona. So, yes, both teams now into the bonus, and a 1-and-1 for the freshman Raquan Taylor of UTRGV.
Talking to Tommy Lloyd today about his defense and what they're trying to do, and guard without fouling is always a thing for every team, not just Arizona. But you know, when you switch a lot of the times and a guy attacks you, your first instinct is to put your hand out. And so being able to move your feet with your hands up and not picking up ticky-tack fouls is a thing that they're talking about.
Then Mathurin off the window. First points for Mathurin.
So athletic.
And Kirk Kreese is down off the ball.
Let's see what happened.
Justin Kokoski, the athletic trainer for the Wildcats, comes to check on Kreese.
Yeah, he was off the ball.
And the officials will go to the monitor to see what transpired and if it warrants anything. Looked like Dante Houston Jr., the freshman,
hit him on the way down.
I think it was incidental as he was trying just to position himself.
Just hit him in the wrong area.
Maybe. Frank Harvey III and Sean Lehigh over there at the table. And they're checking the monitor to see again if there is anything that warrants a call here. Okay, keep an eye. There's Kreese.
I don't know about that, man. Only he knows if it was intentional or not.
Now, I did see Dante Houston Jr. kind of immediately say, he threw his hands up, the mea culpa, like I didn't mean it. So watch, okay, 23 right there.
I mean, why did his arm go out?
So they are checking at the monitor to see if
I'm just glad that Kreese is all right. I was, non-contact injury. That's what I was thinking.
You always get nervous in the non-contact that it's a knee.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Sean Lehigh checking with us to see if we have, but I believe they have access to everything that we see, so it's not like we have something different. So they're trying to piece it together over there to see if anything should go against Dante Houston Jr. of UTRGV.
Make a decision. I'd give him the benefit of the doubt if that's our only angle. You know, you can't assume intent.
Yeah, no. Like the NFL, it stands.
Yeah.
Can we have our first one of the year, Don?
Well, I just want to move on just to move on. It's not. I don't think this is going to be a right or wrong call, to be honest. I don't think you can really tell. But
unless they saw something on the floor, did any of them see the action?
Because they only blew it dead because Kreese was on the ground.
Was down. 35-11 Arizona. The Cats have scored 7 straight. Made their last 4 shots. Arizona shooting 60% from the field. UTRGV only 19%. And now Scott Brown going to the Arizona huddle. Frank Harvey going over to the UTRGV huddle to talk to Matt Figger.
And Kirk Kriisa saying he did it on purpose. Again,
that reaction
we don't know.
tells me there's no call.
Right. Listen, I'm just glad that Kriisa's all right.
Yeah.
That's
all
the
that
bottom line for me.
And Frank Harvey coming over to give us an explanation.
So from our angles, it was technical, nothing there. So we can show no foul, no second one.
So from what they saw, it was inconclusive. They didn't have any evidence that would warrant a call. Yeah.
You can't assume intent. I said it before. Like, you don't know, and if that's your only angle, it's hard to tell.
So back to the point of interruption, and it's a Vaqueros basketball.
When you're rolling like that, though, you wonder what a stoppage like that does. You know, this crowd's been into it.
You want to keep going. You just want to, if you're Arizona and Tommy Lloyd, you want it to keep rolling.
Right.
Doc Nelson. Open three. Dante Houston Jr. banks it in.
Second time that pass has been open. That drive baseline, relocate back to the slot. Second one they've made from there.
First points for Houston, who was scoreless, played only 4 minutes in their opener against Texas A&M International Division II school. That UTRGV won that game 74-59 at home on Tuesday. And Kim Aiken Jr. missing the three, and the rebound Mike Adewumi for UTRGV.
The only blemish for Arizona tonight, as far as I can see, is haven't made a lot of threes. I think they're 2 for 12 now from behind the three-point line.
Dante Houston Jr. with 5 straight for UTRGV, and now a turnover and a travel called against the Wildcats. And Don,
I'm telling you, I've seen it. We've done too many games when you're rolling and everything's clicking, and then you stop for 5 minutes. Sometimes you just flatten out. Arizona's got to find a way to get that charge back in them.
Kirk Kriisa getting set to return after having to leave for a couple of minutes. Doc Nelson.
That ain't gonna work.
Justin Kier strips it from Dante Houston. And on the tie-up, Arizona basketball.
I was gonna say, Houston, if you're gonna challenge Koloko that deep, I wouldn't advise that.
Back on the floor for the Wildcats, number 25, Kirk Kriisa.
Kirk Kriisa back on the floor.
Entering for the Vaqueros, number 2, Quentin Johnson.
See, I like this. Kier bringing it up. Kriisa off the ball. We've been talking a lot about him being the point guard, but he can really shoot at Kriisa. So he can do both. Start your offense and play off the ball as a shooter.
Now, if Aiken had laid that one in, would that have gone as an assist for Koloko, even though it hit the rim? Would you give it an assist?
No. If you throw a pass that hits the rim, you don't deserve an assist.
College basketball doubleheader at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. They'll feature Stanford against Texas on the men's side. And then the 2021 national runner-up, Nadia Barnes and the Arizona Wildcats take on Texas in the women's tilt. Visit pac12.me/coast to coast to get your tickets now. That's pac12.me/coast to coast.
Isn't it crazy, Roxy, that you and I have done the Pac-12 tournament at T-Mobile since it started, since it moved over there, and there's so many games there now, and you wonder, oh, is it a benefit if you played there before the Pac-12 tournament? Well, it seems like everybody plays there now before the Pac-12 tournament. But a great building, a great venue, especially for the Pac-12 tournament. So glad to see that they're using it more for college basketball.
More and more stuff moving to Vegas.
Yep.
The Pac-12 football championship is going to be there this year. There's one more for Kim Aiken Jr., who committed to Arizona under Sean Miller. When Sean was let go, Kim Aiken Jr. decides to look around. As the follow by Christian Coloco. He has 10. One off a career high, and it's Arizona up by 21. But then Kim Aiken Jr. commits to Washington State. And then comes back to Arizona and Tommy Lloyd.
Didn't get into the grad school, correct, at Washington State, the one he wanted. And then Tommy Lloyd comes in and he comes back. So,
and he was an all-academic Big Sky guy. So it's, and he had, I want to say, like a 3.5 GPA.
Yeah. And by the way, Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year too.
Yeah.
So a good get for Arizona in a roundabout way, but they're happy to have him.
First team all Big Sky last year. And there's a stoppage, might be an issue with the clock. Here with 3:20 left in the half and the shot clock at 12.
On the board for the Vaqueros, number 20.
The reset to 20.
As it hit the rim and the ball's in the front court.
No, notice that's a new thing this year. At least I didn't pick up on it. If it's not a new thing this year, players standing in bounds. Johnson knocks down the three until they're ready to receive it, and then they step back out of bounds to get the ball from the official. I think that it materialized because officials were handing it to the player, and the play wasn't set to be run yet. So players now stand in bounds until their team's set to run the offensive play.
Christian Coloco the rebound. Kirk Kriisa lines it up.
Good change of direction there on the handoff. Refused it. The handoff didn't keep it going. Crossed it back. Wide open three. Knocks it down.
By the way, I love that he's got Kerr on the back of his jersey. Not his last name, but he's got Kerr.
There's a lot of things to like about Kriisa. Mine is he likes to mix it up a little bit, and that's, well, he likes to let the other team know when things are going well for Arizona. And he gets this crowd going too. Takes charges, gets up.
And paying homage to Steve Kerr. Of course, his dad was a Steve Kerr fan, and that's how he got the name Kerr.
Good for Steve Kerr letting him wear his number too.
Deflected loose ball. Kriisa diving for it.
That's why he's a fan favorite right there.
And they're getting him for a foul. And the second on Kerr, Kriisa. As there is Steve Kerr along the hallways here of McHale.
Those shorts that he's wearing are now back. All the kids wear the short shorts again.
You had the short shorts.
Yeah. Yep. They got increasingly longer at UCLA. They were really short, and they just kept getting a little bit longer each year to where they were kind of normal length by my senior year. And then after that, the Fab Five came along, and then everybody had them down past their knees.
Everyone's wearing pants then.
Yeah.
1-1 for Justin Johnson, a transfer from Southern Miss. Last year averaged 6 points per game for the Vaqueros. More for Johnson. 13 points in their opener against Texas A&M International.
Feels like more than a 20-point lead, doesn't it? And I think the reason it feels that way and isn't is, I mentioned earlier, Arizona not shooting it great from behind the line.
Just 3 for 13 from 3. Foul against the Vaqueros. That goes on Mike Adewumi. His first. Arizona has led by as many as 24 points. He made 6 of the last 7 from the floor as Pella Larson to the line. Dealing with a broken foot that slowed his progress through the fall, and question if he'd be able to go the exhibition game, and he has been ready to go for Tommy Lloyd. One more for Larson, who last year played for Utah.
And you saw flashes last year at Utah. You know, he was a little bit up and down, but you saw that there was something there. And I think the longer he plays college basketball, the more you're going to see and him improve as it goes along.
Justin Johnson attacking. And the foul called against Oumar Ballo, the Gonzaga transfer for Arizona. The product of one of those NBA academies. As Ballo originally from Mali, but went to the NBA Academy in Latin America. We got noticed.
Work in progress. There's some potential there. Obviously the size, long arms. But I'm not sure, you know, can Koloko play heavy minutes? He's never done it here at Arizona, but the way he's playing, I'm sure Tommy Lloyd wants to keep him on the floor for as long as he can go.
Justin Johnson now leading the Vaqueros along with Nelson, 7 points each. Final 100 seconds of the first half. Kirk Kriisa. Three.
Deep three. Yeah, I said it earlier, Roxy. I really like Kriisa being able to do both and them doing both. Let him move around off the ball, but then when you need him to run the offense and get it started, he can do that too.
And that's a travel on Dante Houston Jr.
Good driving kick by Larson. You know, it's interesting, college players now, the transition, whether you're trying out or you're going to play in the NBA, when they move that college line back, the transition to the NBA line is much shorter now. When it was essentially the high school line, it was a big jump from that line to the NBA line.
On the drive to the bucket, the left hand from Justin Kier.
It felt like UTRGV had stabilized this a little bit. It was hanging around like they got it under 20 a couple times. And here we are right back to 25.
Largest lead for Arizona. Free throws for the Vaqueros as Shane Noel in for the first time, the freshman for Arizona.
Good screen there by Ballo, even though it wasn't supposed to be a screen.
When you're 7 feet 260, a lot of times unintentionally stuff happens.
Well, this is what I was talking about earlier, though. The fouls are starting to pile up a little bit. You know that they're driving it, and so you got to be able to keep them in front without using your hands. And Nelson's been trying to attack the paint all night. They've done a pretty good job keeping them out of there, but you don't want to start putting them on the line, because we know the best way to make a comeback is for the clock to stop and you to make points at the free throw line.
So Nelson, who played his first 2 years for Randy Ray at Weber State, just up the road from Salt Lake City in Ogden. And originally from Houston, comes back to Texas, makes 1 of 2 that trip, and he has 8. Over the head pass from Pelle Larsson to Oumar Ballo.
The creativity of Pelle Larsson. See, here he goes again. Don't foul.
Shane Noel pulls it down.
4-second differential here, shot to game. Not enough for a 2-for-1.
14 assists on 20 field goals in the first half for Arizona.
We'll take it.
The Cats with 7 block shots, holding UTRGV to just 24% for the field.
One more.
Pelle Larsson open. And a foul going for the rebound, and it's on Arizona, which means free throws for the Vaqueros with 11.4 left in the half.
Fouls going against Arizona's number 11, Oumar Ballo, his second personal.
Second on Oumar Ballo.
Well, it would have been much prettier had it not gotten tipped, but you like the idea and the creativity of Larsson.
Raquan Taylor at the line. And the double bonus, 2 shots. The freshman from Montgomery, Alabama. 9 points in the opener against Texas A&M International for Taylor. Who's now 0 for 2 from the line.
Back on the floor for the Wildcats, number 24, Kim.
Well, you wouldn't think that this would become a game in the second half, so I think the idea in the locker room for Tommy Lloyd is everybody's going to get a chance here in the second half. Let's continue to work our habits, continue to work on our defensive principles, so we can continue to work on our offense, our fast-paced offense.
1 for 2. Raekwon Taylor gets on the scoreboard, and Tommy Lloyd will take that use it or lose it timeout here. 49-24 Wildcats, but Christian Coloco just dominant at both ends of the floor, Don.
Listen, we were talking a lot about him to start the game. He hasn't disappointed. It's a lower level of competition without much size. That being said, he looks way different to me than he has in his first couple of years here at Arizona. More confident, he's scoring more, his footwork's better, but just going after every shot. We showed you the pictures of how much better his body looks. I'm not saying he's going to do this every night when we get into Pac-12 play, but he's certainly going to be way more of a factor than he's ever been here at Arizona.
And there's a lot of tough big guys he'll have to deal with in this league. And nothing against UTRGV, but the competition tonight is not going to be the same.
No, well, the size isn't the same.
Some pressure from the Vaqueros. And one last crack at it for Arizona.
High quick ball screen.
Fumbled by Shane Noel. And a tie-up, it belongs to UTRGV with 4.3.
Set that high screen near half court. NBA terminology, it's a high quick. And you decide whether you attack downhill or there's action on either side. I think Noel was supposed to be spaced in the corner, and he started diving to the rim.
Justin Johnson. And a travel is called. That takes us to halftime. 49-24, Arizona in front. Issued 63%, leading by as many as 26, a 25-point lead at the half.
Impressive on both ends for Arizona. I love Coloco, his rim protection, everybody engaged defensively, but then getting it ahead with the lead pass and attacking. Arizona, impressive first half.
Cats dominant at home in game 2 of the Tommy Lloyd era. Ready for the start of the second half at McHale. Big crowd on hand. Great to see the fans back inside. McHale Center, 49-24 Arizona. Tip-off week on Pac-12 Network, presented by Gatorade. Leading scorers is Julius Tubelis with 16. Christian Coloco with 10. That's one off a career high. He had 11 against Washington in a game last season, while Ricky Doc Nelson 8 to lead UTRGV, but it's been a challenge for the Vaqueros on the offensive end.
You always ask players, how can you affect the game? How about Coloco's line? 12 minutes, right? 10 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks in 12 minutes. Pretty good production.
More in 10 minutes to Bellis, 16.7 rebounds.
Like I always say, Roxy, it's always good when you have more points than minutes played.
You would know.
Yes, I would.
(49-24) Arizona. They led by as many as 26 in the first half, and 63% for the floor in the first half. It's the best in a half for Arizona since last February, when they shot 68% in a half against Colorado. An Arizona team that with 6 scholarship newcomers and a turnover, the new coaching staff. Jack Murphy, the only holdover from the previous staff, the associate head coach for Tommy Lloyd. But then you bring Jason Gardner back onto the staff, former Wildcat great whose jersey is hanging in the rafters here.
I wondered out loud in the first half, Roxy, what UTRGV could do to change how things were going. Let's see what adjustments they make, if any, here to start the second half.
Kurt Kriisa feeds inside, and Christian Coloco has it denied. I thought you were going to say they could have put a padlock on the Arizona locker room door. Three from the corner from Mike Adewumi for UTRGV.
Well, good start. Get a stop on one end, 3 on the other. Offense was at a premium for the Vaqueros in the first half.
You think they were shell-shocked coming out, dealing with Arizona's length and quickness and size?
I do.
Second foul on Merrick Nelson.
I just think Arizona's disposition, you know, and their energy and intensity, I think shell-shocked UTRGV a little bit.
Christian Coloco at the line was 2 for 2 from the stripe in the opener against NAU. 8 points, 4 rebounds against the Lumberjacks, had 5 block shots. He's equal to block shot total already, so he's tied a career best in blocks. Looking for a career high in points. He's now tied a career high in scoring. An early sub as Merrick Nelson now with 3 fouls is Dante Houston Jr. checking in for UTRGV.
Just amazing the difference in his body. We showed those pictures in the first half. You work at it, you can change what your body looks like, and it's changed his whole attitude, it seems like. Not attitude, but his performance.
You can tell he's just so much more confident out there.
Especially on the offensive end.
It's a career high 12 points for Christian Coloco. Broken up by Coloco, chasing it down is Dante Houston Jr. in a tough fadeaway. Pulled down by Creasa. I wonder if the official score will give him credit for that. Another block. Transition 3. And the rebound tipped free to Laquan Butler for the Vaqueros.
Well, for a team wanting to slow down Arizona, they pushed it more than I thought they would. I thought when they would get stops, UTRGV that is, would walk it up and slow the tempo.
Loose ball picked up and dropped in by Azulis Tabellas.
Right place, right time. But I guess you can't do that if you're down 20 plus. You can't walk it up every time if you're thinking about getting back into this game.
Arizona's equal their largest lead. The floater short from Mike Adewumi, and there's Coloco changing that shot. Fast break.
Running the floor.
Dropped it, picked it up, then couldn't get it to go, and the rebound tipped out to Laquan Butler for the Vaqueros.
It's easy to start playing the scoreboard if you're Arizona right now, up 26. New coach, new system. I said it in the first half. You got to keep continuing to work your habits.
And a foul going for the rebound. It's on Dante Houston Jr. of UTRGV. And you're wondering, okay, I may not have heard of UTRGV before. It's a relatively brand new school that it was formed in 2015 when University of Texas Pan American and UT Brownsville merged, and they formed UTRGV. Remember that, like on the old Conan O'Brien skit that he had on his late night show, as Christian Coloco fouled to the rim, where he merged like a couple of celebrities, and what would happen if they had a child. Well, this is what happened when UT Brownsville and UT Pan American merged, and the child is UTRGV.
So I'm guessing that those two previous schools were in the Rio Grande Valley.
That's good knowledge.
Yeah.
There's the enrollment, up over 30,000 now. Actually, crazy that they're one of the schools during COVID that actually grew in terms of enrollment.
Is that right?
They're about 10% up. One more for Coloco.
I'm guessing that we don't have a notable alumni tonight.
How disappointed are you right now?
I mean,
you live for the distinguished alumni in the non-conference portion.
I'm the commissioner of notable alumni in the non-conference.
Now, Arizona twice played UT Pan American way back in the early 80s, and they split the 2 games with UT Pan American as Mike Adewumi with a deep 3, his second 3. So in 1983-84, Lute Olson's second season, Arizona beat what was University of Texas Pan American by 25 on the road. They played here in Lute's first season, and UT Pan American beat the Wildcats. Azulis Tabellas Christian Coloco fouled on a putback.
And there's nothing else UTRGV can do with Coloco and Chambelis down there. They're just not big enough. They're just fouling them every time.
Once they get into whack play,
it's their 5th team foul already.
I know Grand Canyon's got some big guys, and New Mexico State does. But they're not going to deal with anything the force of Azuolas Tubelis and Christian Coloco.
You wouldn't think so.
No. If Matt Fickard does, then he might be searching for another job after leaving Austin Peay to go to UTRGV. One more for Christian Coloco. And oddly enough, should point out that Tommy Lloyd's son Liam plays in the WAC against UTRGV as he is a sophomore for Grand Canyon and Bryce Drew.
Well, this is interesting. You know, you're up 26 and have been up pretty big most of the game. But again, it's only the 2nd game of the season. How long do you let your starters stay out there wanting to get some work in, but also the score being as it is, not risking anything happening either? Kind of a tricky one.
Doc Nelson.
There you go.
To Justin Johnson. Desperation 3, and that'll be a shot clock violation. Turnover against the Vaqueros. And that is just their 6th turnover. But I think 3 of them, Don, have been shot clock violations.
Well, they haven't turned it over much, but they haven't got much to go in either because of the Arizona defense.
And if you're wondering what other schools make up the WAC now, first off, this is not your father's WAC.
No.
This is a very different league than we saw years ago.
Tough shot from Terry. Looking for the foul, didn't get it, but somehow was able to get it up and in.
Largest lead for Arizona. So we mentioned Grand Canyon, New Mexico State. New Mexico State picked to win the league. Stephen F. Austin's in the WAC now. Utah Valley, Mark Matson's the head coach at Utah Valley. Seattle U, Tarleton, Lamar, Dixie State, which is in Utah. Chicago State, now for the Old Trapper Majestic moment of the game. And Christian Coloco having himself a night.
Really is dominating on both ends of the floor. His defense was big early, challenging UTRGV, trying to get to the rim, sending everything back. But he's finishing plays now, and I think that's the biggest difference. I've said it a couple times already tonight. Like, they can throw it in there, and against smaller guys, he can score.
Dalen Terry, 4 assists. He had 7, a career best in their opener against NAU. And we've seen Arizona go deep in the rotation. And Tommy Lloyd, that's the one thing that I've also noticed, Don, about this team for the first couple of games now. This is a very deep team, and it's going to be competitive for minutes. And that's going to make it fun to watch this Arizona team grow as the season continues.
Well, you wonder what kind of rotation he's going to settle on. I mean, you're not going to play 11 guys every night. In games like this, you can, because you have a huge lead, and even if the other team goes, 6-8 point run, you're still fine. But once we get into conference play, you just wonder, is it 8, is it 9? But to what we've been talking about all night, this is why these games are important for these players.
3-point play for Justin Johnson, who was 10 to lead the Vaqueros. He's 5 for 5 from the line. Deep 3 from Justin Kyer.
Hasn't been a great night from behind the 3-point line, but I don't think anyone should be concerned about Arizona's 3-point shooting. I mean, it's early in the year. They have guys that can make threes.
Corner 3. An air ball from Quentin Johnson to second. Arizona looks to counter here. Justin Kyer inside. Umar Ballo is clobbered.
Ballo under control. Kyer just out there waiting for it. Knocks it down.
Number 11, Umar Ballo.
So Umar Ballo shooting 2. Played 24 games as a freshman with Gonzaga, averaged 2.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, and followed Tommy Lloyd to Tucson. 7-footer from Mali. 10 minutes in the opener and 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks in 10 minutes against the Lumberjacks.
Well, I think he's going to get a big rip of minutes here in the second half. Just under 15 to go. Arizona already in the bonus.
Ballo goes 1 for 2 from the stripe after he was 6 for 6 from the line against NAU. Eric Nelson, fadeaway in the key, and he's had a frustrating night. And maybe turning an ankle was Raekwon Taylor was grimacing coming back down the floor.
Arizona still pushing it off and misses.
Kim Aiken Jr. missing a 3. And a foul going for the rebound. They're calling it on the box out by Ricky Doc Nelson, his 3rd. Umar Ballo went tumbling. So the 17th foul. Free throws the rest of the way for the Wildcats with 14:11 to go. The first weekend of the college basketball season, which tipped off on Tuesday and tip-off Tuesday. All 12 teams were in action here on Pac-12 Network, including Arizona's win over NAU. League went 10-2 on that day, with Cal and Washington losing their openers. But you got to see UCLA, and they blitzed Bakersfield on Tuesday night.
They did. They looked really good. The only downside was Cody Riley got hurt. Sounds like it's going to be a couple weeks for him. But unfortunately, as we've talked about, they have Villanova tonight and Gonzaga in 10 days or so. So going to be without him, which is unfortunate because you'd like to see UCLA with their full complement against 2 top 5 teams.
You know what's funny with all the hype surrounding UCLA and Johnny Juzang and all these national All-American teams? But for me, I think people are sleeping on Jaime Jaquez, which is crazy.
Well, there's some people that would tell you that Jaquez will go ahead of Juzang in the NBA draft.
Loose ball, Kim Aiken Jr., and a foul is called. And it's on Aiken, his first. And the displeasure toward Frank Harvey on the call. And, hey, man, I played at Eastern Washington like your kid did.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't do that to me.
Well, the crowd's reaction wouldn't have you believe that Arizona's up 31 right now.
Just Frank Harvey III, our lead referee tonight. His son Tyler Harvey played at Eastern Washington.
Playing in Australia now.
And making good money, was the runner-up to be the MVP in the NBL over there. But he was the nation's leading scorer at Eastern Washington. Playing for Jim Hayford, who's now the coach in the WAC at Seattle U. It's all tied back into the WAC somehow.
And Chicago State's still in Chicago.
Offensive foul, the 2nd in a row on Aiken. Yeah, they're still there. They're not moving, are they? They might move out of the WAC, but they're not moving the school.
Well, you don't want to get sloppy here if you're Arizona. You've played really well tonight, gotten a lot of contributions from a lot of guys. But it's hard when you start playing that scoreboard up 31. It's hard to not get loose.
Xavier Johnson is fouled on his way to the bucket. See, the WAC that we knew when we were younger is basically the Mountain West now, right?
Yep.
New Mexico,
Nevada.
Utah was in that, UNLV, San Diego State, Colorado State. That was the WAC. BYU was in the WAC.
Yeah.
The UNLV jumped around. They were in the Big West.
Big West, yeah.
Remember the PCAA? One more for Xavier Johnson.
When UNLV was dominant in the early 90s, they were in the Big West.
Yeah.
Benedict Mathurin.
Remember those 9 p.m. Monday night tip-offs?
Big Monday.
Big Monday at the Thunderdome where they're all throwing tortillas on the floor. Jerry Pym, the legendary.
Ben
coach
Howland,
of
his
Santa Barbara.
assistant.
Yeah. Xavier Johnson 1 for 2 from the line. Back when Jerry Pym was living on a boat.
Yeah.
3 on the way for Justin Kier and a foul underneath.
5, Justin Kier.
Third 3 for Kier. And the foul and a push underneath is against
The basket counts. A foul was called on Arizona's
Merrick
number
Nelson of
11.
UTRGV. No, it's on Umar Bala. So it was 11, and it's on Arizona. So the basket counts, and the foul came after the shot. Third on Bala. Jerry Pym still hanging out in Santa Barbara. Taking people's money on the golf course.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
I think he does the radio.
He does. Spinning in the key. Short from Quentin Johnson. And Pelle Larsson brings it across for Arizona. And Mathurin from deep.
Got to get him going. Maybe not tonight, maybe not through the non-con. But if Arizona's going to be better than what people anticipated, which is what you and I both think, Mathurin's got to be a factor on the offensive end, a major factor.
Arizona by 36. They've more than doubled up UTRGV now.
Still pushing it, too. Pull that, too. There you go.
And Mathurin, back-to-back threes.
There you go. Sometimes all it takes is one, Roxy. You get off to a slow start, 2 for 13 in the opener. But maybe that one, not this last one, but the one before will get him going, get him confident.
Just like a young Don McClain. Just keep shooting.
Oh, yeah. Together we fly. Well, a lot of highlights for Arizona tonight, obviously, but you have to be impressed with their passing, their unselfish play, getting the ball ahead. Terry's been unbelievable at that pass. Tabellis has been running hard all night. And so we see now what Tommy Lloyd's going to try and do here. You know, dig in on the defensive end, get stops, and then get it out and get it down the court and attack.
18 assists on 26 field goals tonight. As you pointed out, Don, 25 assists on 28 made buckets on Tuesday against Northern Arizona. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a team in the country with a better percentage of assists on field goals than the Wildcats.
No. But, you know, when you talk about playing fast, a lot of times guys get that throw-ahead pass and just want to go one-on-one and try and make a play. So even more impressive that they're doing that, but also scoring off the pass and not just guys getting their own off the bounce.
4 fouls on Azuolas Tabellis, who was called for the last one. And at the line, Doc Nelson for UTRGV. He has 9 points. Justin Johnson leads the Vaqueros with 10. Doc Nelson makes both. He's in double figures.
You wonder if Arizona will continue to push it or maybe work on some of their half-court stuff here the last 11 minutes.
That one's short from Ben Mathurin. The long rebound, Justin Johnson for the Vaqueros. Nice move, and he's clobbered. And Pelle Larsson also.
In a blowout game, don't want anything to happen.
As Larsson went up, he's the one that fouled Johnson, and in the follow-through, Johnson may have caught Larsson there in the nose.
You like the challenge by Larson, but both guys in the air. Dangerous play.
6 for 6 now. Justin Johnson at the line. One more shot for the transfer from Southern Miss, Fort Lauderdale, Florida native. Hustling is Merrick Nelson for the offensive rebound. Johnson lost it going up. Justin Kier attacks.
Nice pass.
In the reach-in, Merrick Nelson called for his fourth.
There's not going to be anybody left for Rio Grande Valley.
Well, they only have 9 players available. We'll make it 10 players available for Matt Figger, who was the 2018 Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year at Austin Peay. One more for Azulis Tubelis. 19 points. Honorable mention, all Pac-12 last year, all freshman selection last year. Average 12 points, 7 boards. Gets the roll on the second one off the heel of the rim. Career high 31 against USC last year in that huge game here. And it stays with UTRGV.
Back in the game for Arizona, number 35, Christian Koloko.
Surprise, Coloco's back in the game?
Nah, give him some more minutes. Why not? We'll see Umar Ballo at some point again. I got a feeling the walk-ons are starting to stretch right now.
All right.
Sensing they might get some run. Doc Nelson with 12.
Finally a pull-up. That's what's been the drive all the way hasn't been there all night, and they've turned it over. They've gotten their shot blocked.
Koloko.
That's set up by Kier. Took on the big, let Koloko get deep on the roll, found him for the dunk.
His first career double-double tonight. 17 points, 10 rebounds. And a 3 from Xavier Johnson. Off the mark. Benedict Mathurin. 2 more. Free throws for Arizona.
Good roll by Koloko. Easy finish. Nobody on the rotation.
4th foul on Justin Johnson. So Mathurin was 4 for 4 from the line in the opener. That's Kurt Kriisa coming back for Arizona. So Mathurin, who was born and raised in Montreal, parents from Haiti, he's found his way to the desert here in Tucson. And Mathurin's parents came in to visit him during the Red-Blue game. So made the trek down here.
A zone look for Arizona. This is what I was expecting. And I was hinting at it, Roxy, like trying working on different things, stuff you might need later in the season. Obviously, if you make some mistakes, it doesn't matter. You're up 40. So I like this from Tommy Lloyd.
Mike Adewumi chases down the miss.
Probably going to need a zone at some point.
Plus, you give the opponent something else to prepare for and think about. Oh, Arizona's playing zone. So we have to spend some time and practice working on the zone offense because Arizona's thrown this at us now.
That's right.
Second on Koloko. Free throws for the Vaqueros. And Arizona next up. North Dakota State here on Pac-12 Network on Tuesday.
Number 23, Dante Houston.
Well, the Vaqueros, their next game, Don, they're playing Paul Quinn College.
Wonder what their notable alumni looks like.
Dante Houston Jr. at the line. One more shot for the freshman from Garland, Texas, suburb of Dallas. .78-40 Arizona, and Christian Coloco rips down rebound number 11. Kerr Kriisa had a good look. Mike Adewumi in transition. Goes to the bucket. Nice scoop from Mike Adewumi. Arizona quickly back the other way, and 2 more free throws. Third on Xavier Johnson, and Christian Coloco back to the line.
Well, I think this is what you're going to see this year. When you have a team that plays fast, how Arizona's playing, right? The defense isn't set. So guys try and get back into play, and there's a million fouls. And that's exactly what's happened tonight. Because they're out of position, all they can do is foul UTRGV. And they just haven't made enough baskets to slow Arizona down. They've been out in transition seemingly every possession tonight.
Look, I know it's early, and we haven't seen everybody yet, but in addition to the candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, how about Christian Coloco among the most improved players?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if he keeps up with these numbers, he'll be a shoo-in for it.
Pelle Larsson. Ben Mathurin. Boy, he got up.
Yes, he did.
Fouls go against number 23, Dante Houston, his second personal.
And the athleticism by Mathurin. One more shot coming. Mathurin now at 10. 4 Wildcats in double figures, led by Tubelis with 20. His third career 20-point game. After struggling in the opener, just 8 points and 2 of 13 from the floor against Northern Arizona. Mathurin 11 points tonight.
Arizona back to man-to-man.
Loose ball, here comes Kerr Kriisa. Leads Dalen Terry, the lob!
Great execution. They had numbers. You thought he was going to challenge it.
And a reach it. We'll put UTRGV at the line. Arizona by 41. Highlight reel play though here.
Big time finish. Mathurin showing you the athleticism. The finish.
Pac-12 tip-off week is presented by Gatorade. Gatorade's proven formula. Whatever path you take, greatness starts with G. And brought to you by Allegiant Airlines. Together, we fly. Huge night for Christian Coloco in Arizona's lopsided ball game here with UTRGV. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks for Coloco. He is the first Arizona player in double figures in scoring and rebounding and have 5 blocks in a game since Jordan Hill did it in December of 2008. So it's been 13 years almost since an Arizona player has accomplished that. And just for relevancy, Evan Mobley did it 4 times last season, the only player in the league to do that last year. But double figures, points and rebounds, and 5 blocks.
That's why Evan Mobley was the first guy to win Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Freshman of the Year.
One more for Doc Nelson. And now with the Cleveland Cavaliers. A lot of people are thinking Evan Mobley is going to be Rookie of the Year in the NBA.
It's off to a good start. Good opportunity. Cleveland better than people thought.
Yeah.
Coming out of the gate.
Speaking of better than a lot of people thought, how about Steve Kerr's team?
Yeah. They seem to be back, and Clay's not even back yet, although Jordan Poole's gave him a spark.
And having Andre Iguodala back certainly helps. No James Wiseman yet either for the Warriors. Oumar Ballo. Double the kick out as Adama Ball in the game for Arizona. Kerr Kriisa, 3. Third 3 for Kriisa.
With the Legends of Tucson charity 3.
Kriisa picks the pocket of Dante Houston Jr.
That's why he's a fan favorite. Kriisa on the deck multiple times a game.
Justin Kier comes back. Can make it Jr. in as well.
They like him for that too, knocking down threes.
I'm anxious to get a look at Adama Ball, who just checked in, the freshman from France. Kim Aiken Jr. 3.
They liked him. They were talking a lot about him, Ball, today. Let's shoot around.
I was here at practice last Friday. I got to see Arizona get after it. And Tommy Lloyd mentioned the name Joel Ayayi to me in comparison to Adama Ball. There's a lot of similar qualities to Ayayi from Adama Ball. Now both are from France, but
that would make them similar right off the bat.
Like Chicago State, still in Chicago.
That's right.
Here is Ball. 3 for Adama Ball.
Off window. Why not?
Now he's 6'6", but his wingspan 6'11", and he's still only 17. He's not turning 18 until next month.
A lot of room to grow there.
In the game for Arizona,
he called bank.
I don't think so. Still counts.
Shane Noel in the game, the freshman from Seattle, the younger brother of former Pac-12 Player of the Year at Washington, Jalen Noel. He's now with the Timberwolves. A few Pac-12 guys in Minnesota.
Jordan McLaughlin.
Yeah. Deep 3, way off from Mike Adewumi.
Look at Tommy Lloyd still waving his arm, telling him to go fast.
His first run through as a head coach. He's feeling his way through this.
I would just like to feel my way through the rest of this game.
Still got 5:34 to go, Don.
Unreal. It's been a 40-point game the whole second half.
So Merrick Nelson fouls out.
At the line for Arizona, shooting 2.
So Shane Noel at the line for the Wildcats. First college point for Shane Noel. Prepped at Eastside Catholic in Seattle. Got in for 8 minutes against the Lumberjacks on Tuesday. And he originally committed to Arizona. When Sean Miller was let go, he thought about possibly going somewhere else, and then after meeting with Tommy Lloyd, he recommitted to stay with the Wildcats.
Arizona possession.
Probably going to get the rest of this 5:28 here.
Arizona by 50. 50.
And they're continuing to put the pressure on. When is the last time Arizona won a game by 50?
Oumar Ballo will get to the line. Well, they only won their opener by 29 against Northern Arizona.
Quentin Johnson, his first personal. Number 11, Oumar Ballo at the line, shooting 2.
So Oumar Ballo will shoot a pair. Get a research team on that one to find out the last time Arizona won a game by 50. It's happened.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
One more shot for Ballo. So we have Umar Ballo and Adama Ball on the floor together. So all 5 players for the Wildcats and Tommy Lloyd are newcomers. Coming up next here on Pac-12 Network, Dana Altman's number 13 Ducks to take on SMU. Tim Jankovic bringing the Mustangs.
Anyone going to see the first half of that one? The way this one's going.
One more for Quentin Johnson. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Washington State in action tonight. Of course, the big UCLA-Villanova game as well. And the putback missing is Raekwon Taylor.
Washington State, I think, is going to be as advertised. A lot of people picked them to finish higher than they have recently. And I watched them on opening day on Tuesday, and they look pretty good. They look big and athletic.
Falling away, Justin Kier with 13 off the bench. Here come the Cats again. Shane Noel. And Noel saves it for Arizona. Adama Ball will slow it up. And the pass deflected and taken away by UTRGV. And then Kim Aiken still hustling, rips it away. Underneath, follow the slam.
What a sequence. I thought Aiken was going to foul him. He somehow ripped it out of there and got the dunk.
A 14-1 run. 2015, the last time Arizona won a game by at least 50.
Thanks to your research staff, Roxy.
Fade away. Pull down. Just nothing going right for UTRGV tonight. They might want to change their name back to Texas Pan American after this one.
Or Brownsville.
Arizona, Tommy Lloyd has the Wildcats rolling in his first. Time now for the jockey difference maker, and who else but Christian Coloco. Career high 18 points, 11 rebounds, tying a career high 5 block shots, his first career double-double. And he made his presence known from the opening tip tonight.
He did all that in 19.5 total minutes. Seemed like he was out there longer than that, only because of all the production, the buckets, the block shots, the rebound. I love seeing that. You know, Roxy, we always talk about every year this early in the season who they got, who they brought in, who their transfers are, who are the 5 stars, who are the 4 stars. But I love when you see improvement from within. You know, and not just who transferred in or what high school guys you recruited. And Coloco made a jump. He did. And, you know, we've kind of quantified it with the level of competition tonight, but you can just tell that he's going to be a different player this year.
Jordan Main's in the game now for Arizona. Walk on from Scottsdale is underneath the slam. Umar Ballo in double figures with 10. As the Wildcats reach the century mark on an 18-1 run. And the reserves are just piling on here.
Well, they're still playing the same way. It's not like they've changed.
Last time Arizona eclipsed the century mark here at home, they did it against Georgia Southern back in November of 2018. Tokvilas Tubelis checks in, the brother of Azulis Tubelis.
I think I was here for that Georgia Southern game.
Yeah?
Sounds familiar.
The 100?
Yeah. Because I think we went to the, when was the last time they scored 100 before that one?
Laquan Butler at the line for UTRGV. transfer from Southeast Louisiana. Led the Vaqueros last year in three-pointers made. I guess when you're up by this many points, you can afford to put ice on before the game ends. They're not worried about having to bring him back in the game.
Well, you don't want to waste the time in the locker room. That's why. That's why it's such a bonus. You do it now. Now you can just go shower and get out of there.
Umar Paulo. And another foul will get him to the line.
I was talking last night about how the NBA got rid of the non-basketball plays. You know, the guys pump faking at the three-point line. And
yeah.
So they got rid of that. But what happened is guys started not looking for fouls in general. And you can't imagine the response it's been of how much better the game looks without there being a ton of free throws. And I just feel like the college game would benefit from that as well. You know, not really changing the rules, but it's just this game tonight is longer than an NBA game.
Brent Whiteman in the game. Sophomore walk-on from Tucson. And a steal for Adama Ball. Then he dribbled it away and recovers. So the guys who run a lot of the scout team stuff getting an opportunity here in the final few minutes.
So you wonder why UTRGV still got most of their starters in.
They got nobody else.
I guess they got nobody else to put in.
And they had a guy that's fouled out. As Doc Nelson took a shot, will pull himself off the deck. It will get easier from here for Matt Figger.
You think?
I didn't think so. Although, when you look at the schedule, what's looming, they're still going to have some tough games as you look at Illinois on the schedule. They're number 11. UTRGV is going to go play in Austin against Chris Beard and number 5 Texas. So
it's not getting easier.
No.
Why'd you say that?
Well, it will against Paul Quinn College. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it'll be a little bit easier to opponent than Arizona.
They'll be favored in that one?
They might be. Yeah, at home. It goes for Dante Houston Jr. First 8 points of his career tonight. Final 145. And Grant Whiteman lost it out of bounds. It goes to UTRGV, and they're trying to make the most of these minutes here.
Well, they're nervous, sped up. Don't get in the game very often, trying too hard. It's normal.
There's a steal. Maines to the bucket and a foul. So Jordan Maines, who went to Pinnacle High School up the road in the Phoenix area from Scottsdale. His brother plays at NAU. They were both here in McHale Center.
That's
tip-off
cool.
Tuesday. One more shot. And Maines on the scoreboard. 104 to 48 Arizona. Ryder, SMU, and Oregon coming up next here on Pac-12 Network. The Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene. Number 13 Oregon Ducks. And Arizona just on the verge of the top 25 is they're number 29. If you look at it, they're 4th out among others receiving votes. And on the end line, it stays with the Vaqueros.
Well, not much else to say about this one, but you like the way it started But I just like the way they're playing. I like the buy-in defensively and then offensively getting it down.
How unselfish they are on offense.
Yeah, exactly.
First time back-to-back games with 25 or more assists since 2004. Hey, who's jacking this shot up?
Well, there'll probably be a foul before anyone could jack it up.
Here's a three. Grant Whiteman comes up empty. Justin Johnson. Loose ball underneath. And Tommy Lloyd tells him to back it out. No more shots. All right. How impressed were you with Arizona?
Very. And I think that oh my God.
We got 1/10 of a second. But with Arizona tonight, their performance.
The final score.
Hard to tell against that level of competition, but is it that they made that level of competition look worse than it is because they played so well? I love the fact that Koloko has made a gigantic jump. I think Krisa's answered all the questions about him being the point guard. I think, again, I said it early, Arizona is much better than people think they are or thought they were going to be. It's just about them continuing to evolve, continuing to adapt to a new offensive system. I think the one thing you can look forward to moving forward is Mathurin getting involved, more involved offensively, getting comfortable in this new system. Once he does, I think you're going to see Arizona even better.
Christian Koloko, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks. Azuolas Tubelis leading Arizona with 20 points tonight. It was all Wildcats from the outset. They blitzed him early, leading by as many as 57. Coming up next, Oregon and SMU from Eugene. For Don McClain, Roxy Bernstein, so long from Tucson.